Has made a lot of parents nervous and also led them to seek out answers for the best way to nurture and develop their kids. A relatively new book called Minimize Injury, Maximize Performance by Encinitas resident Dr. Tommy John answers many of those questions. Earlier, Dr. John stopped by the studio and I asked him what people can take away from his book.
So it's basically a four-part solution to everything we're kind of seeing with these youth sports. We're seeing epidemics in all sports. And in actuality, when we dig a little deeper, there's epidemics going on that has nothing to do with sports. So this is a cultural, national topic of interest, finally a solution where it belongs in the parents' hands.
So what do you see as the biggest reason that causes injuries in young athletes?
So it's three causes that compound is what I say. It's the American de-evolution lifestyle that we've adopted. It's the youth sports industry that's over $17 billion a year now. That's bigger than the NFL. And it's parent choices. And you put all those together, and in the mixing bowl, the kids just can't keep up, and their bodies are just failing.
There seems to be a lot of coaches who want their athletes to specialize in their sport. What do you think of specialization?
So it's according to research, it's the single greatest risk factor to injury. Depending on what you read, it's 70 to 90%. There is a time to specialize, meaning compete in your sport more than 8 months a year. That time is way later in your later teens. After you've gone through the developmental process that sometimes takes a long time in this country, we're trying to bring the words youth and elite right next to each other and speed up this process, and you can't speed up development.
But if you have a 12, 13-year-old and all they want to do is play basketball or baseball, why shouldn't we be able to allow them to do that?
So I love that question because everyone's like, my kid loves it. So here's the thing. There's nothing wrong if they're doing it on their own outside in an unorganized fashion. They're playing those mini games that you and I used to play. Horse, around the world, 21. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. It's when we start to bring in the organized and we're starting to stress and bring in the tech and analyzing this, and it's just too much for them to handle. And in the process of preparing them to love their one sport and play their one sport, we need to groom a well-rounded athlete from the ground up, nourish them, sleep, watch tech abuse and everything else. So if your kid truly loves it, then we have to have all these elements in play, and then we'll see that love foster a greater performance level, plus a healthier athlete.
Weekend warriors, mid-40s like myself, is there something that I could take from this or other people like me?
And so what's great about that is those are principles. It's not a system. No human can be put into a system because we're too dynamic and we're ever changing. Every day is different. Those principles apply to all human athletes. So I've actually had people reach out to me saying, hey, 52 years old, don't have a kid, been following you, read your book, applied the tryout test, the nutrition, the recipes, and I'm actually on the program and my knees feel better, my neck is better, and you'll start to see that the human athlete in us loves the principles that I've provided, and it doesn't matter where you start, as long as you got breath in the lungs and warm blood in the veins, you're gonna adapt.